All right. Let's get to some news. Wake Forest is hiring a new coach. They're hiring Jake Dickert from Wazoo. And I think that's a great hire, and I have to do something today. I have to let a dream go.
Get it off your chest, Paul. I've been waiting for this one.
Jamie Chadwell is just not going to get a job because I want him to. I thought he would be perfect for that. Now, look, Jake Dickert's going to be great for it.
Right.
I'm not going to, I think Jake Dickert's a fantastic coach. We've had him on the show. He's really good. He navigated this situation. His situation at Wazoo was get hired to replace Nick Rolovich, who wouldn't get the shot, so they fired him. Then take over, do well, following up Mike Leach, by the way. So, there was always that expectation at Wazoo. Then deal with the fact that the Pac-12 is we're breaking up and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, there's nowhere for you to go.
There's nowhere for you to go. We don't really care about you. He navigated it really, really well. But, they're moving, they're essentially moving conferences again in a year. I wouldn't want to go through that again if I'm Jake Dickert. I don't want to be in a power league because he's very clearly a power league capable coach. So going to Wake Forest is a good move for him. And I don't think he'll really be at Wake Forest more than 4 or 5 years before he moves up to a bigger power league job. He's really good, really fantastic. And so going to Wake, great move. But I've been on hiring Jamie Chadwell to the power level for 3 years now.
About at least 3. Yeah.
3 years. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe North Carolina would do it. No. I thought maybe West Virginia. No, let's go back to the past. Hey, UCF, give them a look. No. Scotty Frost. So here I am. I'm just letting the dream go. It's over. It may happen one day, but I can't promote it anymore because I think I'm hurting him more than I'm helping him at this point.
Do you think his agent's just saying no to these people, or you feel like it's just not?
I think that his lack of P4, here's the thing. I remember thinking this when I was young and trying to get a job. You'd look at a job and you're like, well, I can do that job. And they're like, oh, we
2 to 5 years experience.
2 to 5 years experience. So how can I get experience if you won't hire me?
Yeah.
How are you guys finding all these people awash in experience when you say you have 9 positions open? Mm-hmm. Clearly, you maybe shouldn't put that and then hope you get somebody with experience that can train all the newbies. But how can I do this unless you hire me? Right. And look, I've hired pretty much everybody in this room, mm-hmm. right? And none of you had experience before you came to me, and I didn't have experience when I started, but you get experience because you teach people to do things.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't say listen, here's your job, surgery. I understand that I don't want an inexperienced surgeon. I don't want him going appendix, that is on the middle. It's in the middle. Nope. Dang it. I always get that wrong. Took out the spleen again. But, so eventually somebody's going to have to give him that break and not care that he hasn't had that major experience. Mm-hmm. But I just think he's being wasted at Liberty.
Well, and you could argue at this point, the challenges are different. I guess I should say that. But being a G5 coach is just as hard, and in some ways,
well, he's getting paid well at Liberty.
Yeah, he is. And they're well funded, so it's a little different. But everybody's dealing with player retention issues. They're dealing with it to a larger extent because it does really feel like your program in some ways is like a farm system for other schools that are, lurching and vulturing around. So honestly, at this point, Liberty and Wake Forest, there's some similarities. You're fending off higher suitors, bigger schools. You're having to work within your means. And Jamie Chadwell's done that well at Liberty. He's done that well at Coastal Carolina. He knows that area well. Yeah, it seems like a perfect fit. It is very strange that nobody is taking a shot at him or saying, hey, let's give you the chance. Especially Wake. I know Dave Clawson did a really good job kind of stabilizing that thing, but they could quickly see whether or not he's a good fit and move on from it if it didn't work out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I would. But I do think, like, just thinking about Jake Dickert and what he's going to do now, Emory said that a bunch of his OU friends are panicked that Ben Arbuckle is now going to leave Oklahoma after just being there for 2 weeks and go up to Wazoo as the head coach. So we'll see. I don't know who the candidates are for the Wazoo job. But
yeah, that'd be a weird move. I mean, I would understand it, but I don't know how great of a look that is if you immediately take a head coaching job after being named the DC there. But it would be a chance to take over your own program and work within that system and see what you can do.
Yeah. If I'm Wazoo, I'm looking. I'm looking for somebody who is ready to deal with that transition of. It's not technically. It's a new conference. Like you're not moving, but you might as well be. I mean, you've got all these teams moving in. It's going to be a new thing. There's going to be a lot of PR responsibility, I think, for the coaches in that league for a year. Now, some of them have already been doing it to try to get into new leagues. But I would get somebody who can, deal with the pressure of, oh no, we think the Pac-12 is great. This is why we're good. Here's the numbers. Who can deal with that? Because you're now a G5. You're not a power league. As much as you want to say it, like they're never just going to give you that. Oh yeah, well you were before and you kept the name, so it was the name that made you the powerful, not the pieces of it. But I think that he's going to go and do great at Wake. And going into the ACC right now, there's no better time to go. Like the ACC and Big 12, there's no better time to be a head coach in those leagues. Yeah. Because who is lording over you right now? Now, look, Dabo Swinney took a transfer, and, like, that's a whole thing.
Hey, congrats to him on that.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next segment. But so that might change everything. I mean, he only took one so far. He might take a couple more, but and he took a wide receiver first, which I thought that was the position he didn't like. He thought he was perfect at getting, but watching guys not get open a bunch of the time, I'm sure has gotten to the point where, like, okay, well, maybe I do need a veteran wide receiver or two.
You can only pray over those guys so much.
Like, welcome in from high school, kid. How's the prom? You're starting at Clemson.
Good luck.
Oh, did I earn this job? Yes, you did. Why? Because I will not. I will not take
because of some old-fashioned views, my friend.
Because I will not take someone who didn't want to come here in the first place.
That's right.
If they wanted to go somewhere else, I will not. By the way, also, he didn't go. He got a guy from Southeast Missouri. He didn't get a guy from which I think is almost sometimes the better way to do it. He didn't go and get like Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. He could have probably gotten in that business too. No. He's still gonna do small business Saturday, which I respect. I do respect that part of it. But until he goes and gets somebody who could have also been in Alabama that told him no, like none of these guys, he didn't recruit any of these guys before. Mm-hmm. Like I know I'm going on, but no, I would love to be like Wake Forest. Dave Clawson's, competed and won the ACC. Jim Crow competed for the ACC. You can win there. You can win it at Wake Forest. You can win the ACC. Everything's going to be up and down. Like I don't really think that Clemson or Florida State can have the same kind of chokehold. Like this year really opened my eyes. I thought that FSU after last year had they've got a corner on this. They're FSU. They're going to be no. That they can go from 13-0 to 2-10, and that Clemson can be good but not great. Like they're not scary. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing scary about them. Back when they had Trevor Lawrence and all that, those teams were scary.
Yeah, they were scary.
You did not want to play them. Now, they're good, but they're not like.
There's not that fear.
Oh dear
anymore.
God, what are we gonna do?
And it's been brewing that way for a while. I remember when they lost, and I know Duke, Elko was still the coach, Riley Leonard was there, but them losing on that Thursday or Friday night to open the season against Duke last season, when their offense just couldn't do anything, was such a okay, this is a different world now for them.
Yeah. All right, so I think Jake Dickert will do well. I think that he'll be competing for the ACC title. And look, there's a million teams in the league.
Yeah.
All you need, honestly, Pitt was in it until the last month. There were a bunch of teams in it until the last month because if you get the right schedule, you can be, 5-0 or 6-1 in the league before you have to play anybody who's better than you. And that's the case for any league. Look at A&M this year. A&M undefeated in the league until they finally ran up against some teams that could hang. Texas, I think, was very fortunate that the only two teams they played that could hang with them were Georgia and A&M, and they took it to A&M so much so early, they were in their head. Of course, they were in their head before that game started, but they were in A&M's head. Mm-hmm. But they won that game 17-7, so let's not pretend like it was 37-7. Yeah. It was 17-7. A&M had opportunities to make that a game and just failed. Yep. Texas stopped them, but also A&M failed at that. But Texas got kind of lucky with their schedule this year. Next year, maybe, it's the same schedule kind of flipped, but maybe they're not, like I said, got to go on the road for 4 games in a row in the SEC. Maybe they're just not as lucky. And luck is always part of it. No matter how good you are, there's always luck involved. There's a game that goes your way because of a call. Right. There's a fumble that you didn't lose because it went out of bounds that would have ended a game, right? There's these things that happen. Luck is very much involved. The scheduling part of it is a lot of luck. And as the conferences get bigger, look, Indiana, extremely lucky that the only A-plus team they had to play all year long was Ohio State. 2 years from now, they could have a team that might be better player for player, but they get Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and Michigan, and Washington all together. Yeah. And you're like, oh, crap, not going to go 11-1 that schedule.
Or something like that. Yeah.
So it's just how it is. When we come back, let's talk about Dabo taking